switch it over to video.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I'm only bringing
Thank you.
Thank you. I prepared a PowerPoint presentation that I thought maybe I'd be able to project about the old school in Twinsburg and what's going on with their plans or ideas as to what they're going to do with that. My name is John Budak. I live on Crow's Nest Cove.
You want this set up for you?
I'm sorry?
You want this to put the,
If we could.
you got, behind you, there's a, plug-in if you want.
Is there a projector?
Oh, we don't have a projector, I thought you had a projector.
Yeah, I have a projector too. You know, it's probably the best way to
Okay,
talk through
just go
it
ahead.
and let you know that the presentation that I put together is about 16 pages. And it's available to anybody who would like a copy of it.
I was gonna, sorry, real quick to interrupt you, if you can email it maybe to either Stacy or Deborah. We all have email addresses now, and she'll forward it on to all of us, so
Okay, we'll do.
they can get you the
We'll do.
information. Thanks.
I'm originally from Twinsburg, but I've lived in Reminderville for 26 years. And I've been a taxpayer, my family's been taxpayers of the Twinsburg School District since 1949. Okay. And what it all has to do with is the Twinsburg Old School. And besides being passionate about the old school, because I attended school there. There's also some ecological and some financial things that need to be considered, I think. First of all, Reminderville, Twinsburg Township, and Twinsburg have all paid into, as taxpayers of the Twinsburg school system, have all paid into all of the facilities. Twinsburg Old School was sold to the city of Twinsburg for $10, is by record anyways, back in 1998. And at that time there was nobody from Reminderville or from Twinsburg Township that were on the school board. So we were represented by votes, but we weren't really represented. And the school, which is now appraised at about $2.4 million, is being, they're considering demolishing the school, which they say is going to, it would take $4 to $6 million, $4 to $8 million to upgrade it, which in my presentation they say if you had a house, or if you looked at a house and the realtor told you it would cost $400,000 to $800,000, would you still deal with the realtor, or would you get another estimate? There's only been one estimate put out so far for $400,000 to $800,000, and in the research that I've done on the presentation, it would really only cost at a maximum $3.3 million. Now, when the school sold the old, when the school board sold the old school to Twinsburg for $10 or whatever it was, I don't know that Reminderville or Twinsburg Township was given their share of $3.33 or whatever percentage it would have been. Now it is worth $2.4 million, and they're talking about tearing it down. I think that, well, in my presentation, I demonstrate that in tearing it down, it will cost the school district and Twinsburg Township over $3.3 million. A loss of $2.4 million of value in the old school currently, which would cost $18 to $20 million to replicate. If you were to build that school again, it would cost $18 to $20 million, depending on whether it was labor or non-labor work. It's valued at 2.4, and it would only cost 3.3 to bring it up to standards. And that 3.3 is based on a success story from Ohio Historic Schools, which at $66 a square foot, they completely remodeled a school in Greenfield. Now this building, whether it's used by the residents of Reminderville or Twinsburg Township or Twinsburg or what have you, is worth, with a $3 million investment, it is worth $18 to $20 million. And my whole point in the presentation, if I had a chance to project it, and then it would take, I think, too long to set it up and everything. And I'll send everybody a copy of it. It demonstrates that it makes more sense to all of us, and especially the school district and the school district taxpayers, to maintain the building and to do something with it, whether it was to sell it and to divide the revenues or whatever. So that's basically what my presentation is all about, and it would be a lot clearer if we would have been able to step through it. So,
Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. If the school board sold it to Twin for $10, and it was refurbished for $3 million, and sold again, how would the school board get back into it? They don't own it anymore.
well, the fact, I guess my concern or my presentation is that Reminderville and Twinsburg Township were not represented in the sale of $10 when the taxpayers, which I've been a resident of Reminderville for 26 years, the taxpayers in Reminderville didn't have any say in that sale to the city of Twinsburg.
But I still don't understand how the Twinsburg School Board would benefit from redoing this school if the city owns it and not the school board, not the school district. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm more concerned about the taxpayers of Reminderville and Twinsburg Township that paid to maintain all of the schools in the school district.
I just want to make a clarification on this, and I don't want to get into it. I'm not on a side here for the school being refurbished or not. I just want to make sure all the facts are out there correctly. That is correct, there was a $10 transaction, but that was a legal process that was being used because the land that the current new high school is on was in effect traded with the city of Twinsburg. So we would have spent quite a bit of money buying that land if we had to do it. And at the time, the mayor of Twinsburg had a possibility of bringing the Chrysler Corporation in, if you recall, with UAW, and having a training program in it was so the city and the unions and the Chrysler Corporation could keep the business here, and there's all kinds of things going with it. All I'm trying to say is it wasn't simple $10, that's what it was. It wasn't simple $10, it was the case where we got all the land for the new high school.
Thank you. And it was during the time that there was a superintendent that ended up with 12 felonies filed against him.
Yeah, but that didn't have anything to do with that. And the board member, just so you are aware of this, Judy Ingram was a board member at the time, and she was from the township.
Now, I've checked with,
Unless she was off.
Summit County, and Summit County has verified emphatically that there was nobody.
Okay, well, I'd have to check on it, because I think Judy Ingram was.
I can send you that email if you'd
Okay,
like.
all right, like I said, I'm not in this, I just wanna make sure the facts are right, that's all.
You know, I happened to be the city engineer at the time. Mr. Hoffman states is absolutely true. The city purchased the property for the new high school, went on. And that was purchased for over $2.5 million, I think. And secondly, the city paid for the recreational facility that's on there. And I think they paid for a good portion of the auditorium. So that combined was, do you remember, $5, $6, $7 million?
I think it was more than 7 million, but there was some other land that was transferred to the walking trail behind Dodge right now. That land was transferred over, so it was a complicated process.
I guess if you didn't get your portion of the $10, of course, you didn't pay your portion of the $10 to $12 million that the city did pay for,
And,
so,
and of course, Reminderville citizens can use that,
yes,
fitness center.
yes. So that's the other part, and
Is
there's
that,
another part.
is that a fact that
I'm a member.
remind,
So that's a big dollar that was,
Thank you, Gene.
maybe forgotten.
okay, I just think it's a large dollar item that,
Yeah, and there's not just you, there's other residents in Reminderville that have called me about it. And you put together, I guess, what you would like to see there. Is that true?
I'm sorry.
You put something together that shows like what you really would like to
For
see.
the most part, everybody would like it to stay and to be, to be up, maintained as it was supposed to be maintained. There's actually been neglect in maintaining it, and there's a loss of either value or there's an increase in reparation costs because of the lack of maintenance.
Well, I understand it's an emotional attachment to a group of citizens that live in Reminderville and in Twinsburg, I'm sure. It is not, let's say, becoming of this council to help Twinsburg with, to do with something that was purchased by them. So,
You know, if I might step in, I'm on the Community Relations Board, where Twinsburg Township, and Reminderville representatives meet quarterly. And they've tossed around ideas for that building, museum, splitting it up, part of it is office space. They're trying to think of ways to make it work safe. That might be a group that would be good for you to approach, because you'd be approaching Twinsburg Township, and Reminderville at the same time.
You have contact?
I don't have the next meeting with me. If you'd like, I can give you my email or phone number.
I'm sorry, are you Mark?
Yes,
Tom?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll email you. Yeah.
I can get you the date of the next meeting.
Okay. The other thing is that, the property is not being marketed. So, the value or the ability to sell it and to appreciate any gains from it are not even being pursued. But for the most part, my concern is for the citizens of, and the taxpayers of Reminderville and Twinsburg Township, and the fact that they weren't represented, as far as I feel, when the school was turned over to the city.
soon as he gets the next meeting, I'll go to a field truck, I'll get more information, but, doesn't sound like, I don't know how many years ago that was, I don't know if I was around for that. See what I can find out.
Where, wasn't Kent State located there for a while?
Yeah,
I'm sure they maintained it.
yeah, Kent.
Well, there was money that came in, but, the claims are that the roof is leaking and that there are a lot of structural problems which should not have occurred if the income was there from Kent State and from Chrysler. Thank you.
My email address is on there if you want to send the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Sam? I did want to ask you about, we've gotten a letter a few weeks back about the Chamber of Climate, about donating.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1,000.
Yeah, I asked a few weeks ago about it. Because I think that's what we gave last time.
We've done that, or,
We've
Yeah.
got,
okay, we need to,
We've done it in the past, we
Yes.
just haven't.
we just need to do it
Gotcha.
this quick. That's just been, we can do, oh, can we do that as a motion?
I'm sorry, I was talking to the chief about Will's question.
Donating $1,000 for the Chamber of Commerce.
I just need a motion.
All right, thanks, Sam. Mr. Carter,
No report.
Mr. Esser.
Yes, Maryland has been stabilized. They plan on, we'll proof roll it tomorrow and pave it on Thursday, and then do the cleanup and restoration on the site. Pirates Trail, we met with the contractor, he will be out there in the next 2 weeks to complete the complete punch list on the project. So, we met with him, went over everything, walked the street, so he's geared up to go.
Gene, did you walk Pirates with them?
Yes, yes, I did.
I have some concerns about the seeding they did on
Yeah.
tree lines.
They're
They'll
all-
be doing all that?
They're stepping through and cleaning up all pressed areas, all areas that are barren. The landscape will be.
Because I mean, it's really bad. I mean, if you walk it, you saw it.
Yeah, so the landscaper is coming back to do all the restoration, so that will be complete. The Nautilus Trail, we're having a pre-construction meeting on Thursday to kick off that project for the one-line replacement on Nautilus Trail. That'll be what is completed this year, and the road will be completed in the spring. That is about it.
I have a couple of questions for you. In Harrington, phases 5 and 6, where the top coat isn't on yet, is that gonna be on before we start
We have
plowing?
requested that. We put a memo to John Everson, we requested that he get the top course placed prior to the winter. They will be doing paving Harrington 6, so I'm hoping that he can come over and do the top course.
Because if they don't, I mean, even the manhole covers, the monument boxes, we cannot plow that.
That's what we're telling him, so
Okay.
yes, we've already approached him on that, to get that completed. Because over the winter, it would beat up the curb pretty good, so we're hoping we can get that topped out. So that is done. Secondly, he's come in with a plan as discussed. He and Mayor went through it, and he's going to put the roof drains into a storm system and take the water quality retention basins before they're released. So that plan was reviewed and sent back with a couple comments, and we'll be reviewing it once it comes back.
Okay, now, that'll be all homes that we're draining onto the ground?
All homes we're going on to ground, yes, sir.
Phases 5 and 6,
We phases 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. There are no,
There's nothing in 6.
nothing in 6.
Okay, because like 3722 Jasmine Lane, they've got a rain barrel at one end of the house, they got gutter dumping on the ground at the other end,
All
on the
that will be picked
backside.
up, that'll all be picked up.
Even though the ditch is right there, they're gonna,
They're going to put in a storm system, pick up all the drainage. That's what was agreed upon, that's what that is the codes that you have to put in the storm system, take it and retain it, and that was the plan that came in. They're completing the comments and they'll start that work. Again, the rain barrel can be utilized, it drains into it, it fills up, it overflows back into the system, but it'll be into a drain system. If the resident wants a rain barrel, that is permissible as long as it's tied back into the system. And as soon as they put the system in, Mr. Rodick will verify that everything's from the house is tied into the storm system. Harrington Phase 6, I did a proof roll on it. I was very surprised. There was just a couple little areas that needed a little touch up, but overall, they'll be paving, putting the curbs in, I think Wednesday or Thursday, and they'll be coming in to pave, so I'm hoping to push to get 4 and 5 paved too.
Because otherwise they'll be plowing. They know that.
I understand, and they know if we, well, worst case scenario, he'll mound around the manholes and everything, but he knows that if we come in there and plow, and we bang up all the curves, he fixed them all before he has to.
Yeah, but if we're just gonna mound up around the manhole covers and with freeze and thaws, we're gonna be doing damage to our trucks though too, right?
Well, no, John has, he did phase 3 in the same condition, and he's well aware of that
Okay.
situation. But the point is, we're progressively trying to get that resolved.
Okay, let's hope that they get that top coat. All right. Thank you, Gene.
Gene, you said pave Maryland, is that gonna be concrete?
That will be concrete on the south side. The north side, we will fix the curb and any asphalt that, and that will all be landscaped. But then on the south side, that is all concrete. The 20-foot roll curb just as the other concrete streets. And that'll tie into the concrete that we go with the new culverts in the middle there.
Thanks. Deborah?
I have one item. Department heads are starting to turn in 2014 budget proposals. I was hoping that council could start talking about scheduling the first work session end of October, November at the latest.
Have you gotten budgets from department heads yet?
They've started to come in. They've all promised that they're coming shortly, once they don't.
Thank you, Deborah. Chief Buck?
Yes, sir.
You're up.
Thank you. A few things. One, couldn't make it to finance, so I apologize for that. The radios that you talked about at finance, the police chief in Twinsburg has elected to go to 800 service. He's told me, I asked if I could put it off to the 2013 budget, or 2014 budget. He said probably not. So I think they're looking to move end of November, middle of November, December sometime. You've all been provided a quote, I assume. I made copies, 12 copies. Yes? No. Okay. Y'all have Deborah has 12 copies of the quote for you. It's in the neighborhood of $63,000 that we'll need to do to switch over our radios. That's our 15 portables and our 4 base units.
What has prompted this, Jeff?
I have
Because
no,
we just went through the narrow banding.
I have no idea. Well, the narrow banding was,
That, I know that's something different, but
The federal government's prompted.
This does seem like Groundhog Day, a little bit.
I don't, it's his dispatch center. I don't make any decisions on it. So I don't know.
Everybody in the federal government says everybody has to go through a certain bandwidth by a certain date. And
That's what I thought we did.
We complied with that.
yeah, but now this is the next day. 800 megahertz was always under my understanding is the way it was supposed to eventually go. You narrow band because he didn't want to go to 800 megahertz, and now he's going to go to it.
That's exactly right. He's not being forced to go to 800 megahertz or 800.
Eventually, everybody will be forced to go to 800 megahertz. Is what's on the federal guidelines coming down the road. It's been going on for how many years now?
You guys know more about that than I do. The last compliance was
I'm
for
just
the
a mayor. I'm not a police chief. I did stay at Holiday Inn the other night. But I just know that for quite some time, one of the things I've been saying, 800 megahertz is coming.
I know that you and I talked about that when you could have got all the radios for no cost,
I
and,
wasn't even gonna bring that up.
and he assured me, I called him, he assured me we're not switching over, so I don't know what to tell you.
Is that grant still available?
Nope. No, because they know you have to go now.
Secondly, the Halloween budget issue. Did you cover that in finance? Is that all worked out, or do we need to talk about it?
Suggestion was made, I'm not sure it's all worked out, probably need to talk about it some more.
Okay, long and short of it is, the money that came out of my community policing account for the community garden left me short for the Halloween party. The Halloween party money, as well as the other money last year, was switched from the one budget, which was the police department budget, to the Parks and Rec budget. So it's not like we're asking for money that's not been allocated in that account. So we would like, if you elect to have the Halloween party, we'd like the Parks and Rec to pay for it, since it's in their budget.
That's great.
Deborah, what else?
Yeah, I talked to Mark. Seems to be what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Well, too late in the game not to.
Was there another?
Yeah, the prisoner housing, we
Oh,
discussed that.
there's legislation in front of you tonight for an increase in housing. I know we talked about it during the 2013 budget negotiations. We originally said 25,000, and when the budget came out, there was 6,000 in there.
3,000.
3,000. Well, we've exhausted that, and with the busy season yet to come, so we need to appropriate more money for prisoner housing.
My response to that, Chief, is we have an account 1,110,420, which we've only used. We have a ton of money in that account that's left. The tens of thousands of dollars.
That's an account that's going to be spoken for at the end of the year.
It will be.
It will be. If it's not, it'll be turned back in, but
Well, right.
we're trying to, I thought our discussions for budget was we try and keep each individual expenditure in its own area.
Right.
So
Right. No, I know.
if we do that and then there's money left over in the operating expense this year, well, maybe we can visit that during budget hearings. But I'd like to get to a point where we have an idea of how much comes out of the electric, how much comes out of the gas, how much comes out of the prisoner housing,
That's what we wanted.
so that we set it, But whatever you guys decide.
And what's the deadline for the radios? November?
They didn't give me a deadline. I said, can I put it in my 2014 budget? And they said no. He thinks we'll be switched over before then.
And how much lead time do you need?
The Boylan and Cannon gave me a price today. Tom, you know how long it takes to get those radios? I'm gonna guess a few weeks. I just brought it to your attention right now. I haven't received anything in writing from him. I've only received a phone call from his lieutenant telling me he's going. So I'm not gonna run out and buy the radios until he gives me a hard and fast date, but it's difficult. It's difficult sometimes getting the hard and fast dates out of him.
Are they offered, do they do dispatching for anyone else, Chief?
No.
So if they said anything to you, Tom, about how now your radios are garbage too, or?
No, they haven't said anything to me. That was
Right, what we just,
I was gonna mention in my report, but the first I'm hearing of it. So that's highly unusual.
I told the mayor that I talked to you about that, Tom. You want to cover that conversation?
Yeah. So either I'm cracking up, which is entirely possible, or I have not heard of it. But what I was gonna mention is Chief Buck has a hard estimate from BNC Communications of what that new hardware would cost. I've got just as many radios, if not more, than he does. So whatever his numbers are, he can pretty much double it to cover us. The irritation is that I just got done buying all those radios because Twinsburg told us they were sticking with 420 in January when we narrow banded. So we went out and spent all of our money on those new radios that are brand new. And they will not function. They'll be on 2 different frequencies.
The other thing I'd like to bring up is that there's talk amongst Twinsburg and Solon. They've already closed their jail in Twinsburg, and now Solon is housing all their inmates and all their jail duty. There's talk about also switching over the dispatch center. Tom, do you know what they're on in Solon?
Solon's on 420 right now.
If they're gonna switch to Solon, The last thing we wanna do is spend 62,000 or 104,000 or 124,000 on all 800 radios and then have them switch to SOLA next year and those be obsolete. So I think I think that we need to have a meeting with them. The mayor probably should go with the department heads. He was able to decrease our dispatch contract by tens of thousands of dollars, so I think it would be advantageous to have him in a room when we're talking about what's going on for the future. It's nothing for them to spend $120,000 in Twinsburg, but it's an awful lot for us. That's 2 new cruisers for me.
I got something, is there a way we can patrol Harrington a little more? There are some people who think that the speed limit is unlimited, and they could drive as fast as they want.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. We had, I had an email from somebody in Harrington last month. We ran radar there for 2 weeks straight in the area that they were complaining about, and we had nobody over 27 miles an hour.
Because I've personally witnessed them myself, whoever.
Okay.
All right.
So, yes, we'll increase that.
Okay. I'll try to keep track of times when I see them if they're.
Just give me a phone call,
Right.
I'll put the unit out.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Wait a minute, one more thing. I don't know if anybody's seen the flyers or anything. I've talked with the mayor and we've decided to do years ago, the police department used to do Years ago, the police department used to do a clam bake. And we would donate the money to charity. This year, during the Halloween Saturday, we're going to plan on using the tent, the chairs and everything, and have a clam bake and donate all the proceeds of that clam bake to the Humane Society of Summit County, which is housed in Twinsburg Township, the non-kill facility. It's the one that takes all of our animals. So any help that I could get from the council members on selling the tickets, they're right there. It's $25 a ticket. The lobster market, Bay Lobster in Twinsburg, has donated 50% of the food and got our cost down on that to about half of what everybody else is. So there'll be a sizable amount from each $25 ticket going to the Humane Society. And so anything you guys can do to help us sell tickets at work or anywhere else would be greatly appreciated. We'll have them at the police department. I'll deliver them to your houses, whatever you need. But family, friends, and everybody will start at 5 o'clock, and we'll provide a half a chicken, sweet potatoes, corn on the cob, clams, clam chowder, cornbread, and beverages for $25. Extra dozen clams for $10, and we should be over and out of there by 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Chief, we were talking about the Halloween being from 1 to 3. Do you think that gives you enough time?
We're good.
You're good with that?
Additionally, the Humane Society is going to bring up animals to be adopted. They'll be here for the 1 to 3 session and for the evening session. So, did I mention any help that you can give us selling tickets to your clients, customers, people at work, friends, family, relatives? We'd appreciate it. If they're not going to come, it's just a donation. If you just write that on the back of the ticket, so we don't have to pay for that extra dinner. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Plunkett?
You mentioned most of what I was going to talk about. But in addition to that, there is one other thing that we could do, just for your own knowledge, in case somebody mentions it to you. It's called a translator. It's a piece of hardware that you could buy, install it into the police car or the fire truck, excuse me, and it would translate between a 420 band and 800. But that's not really for emergency use. I mean, it's capable. Somebody tells you that as an elected official here, why aren't we doing that? It's much cheaper. It's not really for emergency use. It's for, maybe something along the lines of a professional engineer who's talking to a survey crew or something like that, It's really not good for the police officers and firefighters because it doesn't repeat the transmissions as quickly as it should. So emergency traffic is emergency traffic. It has to go through right away.
In that $62,000, if you look at the quote, there also is a repeater in there for here to replace our repeater.
Yes, but I'm gonna look into that and see exactly what is going on. with Twinsburg. I can't believe that they spent the money they spent in January, they're gonna spend it again 8 months later, so.
Thanks, Chief. Anything else?
Okay.
Either of you? Architectural board review.
ABR met last night, we approved, 2 decks and 1 fence.
Thanks, Mark. What, planning and zoning? Board of zoning appeals.
We are going to have a meeting, probably on the 17th, I believe it's going yet. It's not for sure yet. We don't know how this end of this week.
Harrington?
What's it? Joe, is that for Harrington?
He didn't give me the street, I'm sorry.
No, something different.
Finance?
Finance met today before this meeting. We recommended payments in the amount of $318,842.67. Our next meeting will be the second Tuesday of October, whatever date that is, at 6:30. The 8th? We think it's the 8th. It is the 8th, all right, 6:30. That's all.
Thanks, Tom. Cable?
No report.
Communications?
Communications will be meeting on Monday the 7th at 7 o'clock. All are welcome to attend.
Long-term community development.
As always, we'll be meeting on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, and we look forward to anybody that wants to come in and find out what long-term development does each meeting. It starts at 6:30, by all means, come in and see.
Thank you, Lee. Recreation?
Recreation will meet in this room tomorrow at 7. And Chief, this is my first year on that committee. I assumed out of the gate that the Halloween party was recreation responsibility. So any requisitions to Debbie, and Debbie let me know when they're in my slot.
Or Deborah.
And everybody's welcome to be there tomorrow.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Records? No report. Seniors?
Seniors will have breakfast tomorrow at Denny's in Streetsboro. And our next luncheon will be at the Cafe and Stowe on October 8th. And our next meeting coming up on the 21st of October, that's the spaghetti dinner. And we usually have a pre-sign-up list. I'll talk to you ladies about that, and I'll talk to Chief Plummer about that. That's it.
Thanks, Mark. And Jack?
No report for Jed, except that our next meeting is December 3rd at the Township Hall at 7 o'clock.
We'll touch on the shred thing, or no?
We have a tentative date of November 2nd. We're gonna have a shred truck come in, cause we are gonna be, shredding some records from the archives room, and we're gonna open it up to the community, for your personal documents, and when we have that information, we'll put it on the website, and you guys can call around what you can dispose of.
Thank you, Stacy. Table legislation, Resolution 35, 2013, a resolution to accept the recommendation of the village engineer to accept for street dedication at 8.7753 acre portion of phases 3, 4, 6, and 7 is shown on the Willowbrook Road dedication plat, third reading.
So what's going on with it?
Where are we at?
We talked to Jim Vitale. The question over the $35,000 closet has been resolved, and I think the money has been claimed, so this one can be brought off the table. It's good to go.
Are the plats done?
Can't do it.
I can't do it until you authorize. The plats will be done as soon as you give me authorization. I already have the quote, like I said, $1,000 a plat.
Okay.
The quote for the repairs are $26,000, so there's more than enough money in there to handle all the work. And, but until you accept the money we want, I
can we do that tonight? By
Bring it back
motion?
up, just take it off the table.
Take it off the table. The money's been accepted.
But this doesn't include using that money for that, for the plat?
Yeah.
It does? Okay.
They were having to make a
35,000.
deposit would cover the class and the road
Right.
repairs.
Okay.
They deposited.
So by passing this, will be,
But I think the issue that came up when we first tabled it, Gene, was that the legislation is calling for that 8.77 plus acres as shown on the dedication plat, which we don't have.
The issue was that the lawyer wrote in there that they got their money back. They didn't give us the money first in order to do this stuff. That was what the issue was. We needed the money freed up in order,
No, I understand that, but this was
that's the
way
main,
back
that's the main issue.
when we first tabled it.
We just-
Ed had concerns about not having the plats that the legislation.
But we can't do it till we get the $35,000, and that's,
I would
so that
have to
we can
expend-
pay him to do it.
I would have to expend village funds before I was reimbursed.
Okay, then let's bring it off the table for me.
That was the plan, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have the quotes, and we can proceed with the work. As soon as you accept the 35, then Deb has a way to actually pay for the work that's going to be complete.
Okay. And we also have resolution 37, 2013, a resolution to accept the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the final plat for phase 6 of the Harrington Place subdivision, second reading. Regular legislation, ordinance 25, 2013, an ordinance to make appropriation adjustments for the 2013 village budget and declaring an emergency. Resolution 42, 2013, a resolution to award a contract to Trimore Corporation for the Willowbrook pre-dedication roadwork project in an amount not to exceed $26,212.40, third reading. Resolution 49, 2013, an amended and restated resolution of the Council of the Village of Reminderville, Summit County, Ohio, second reading. Resolution 51, 2013, a resolution to limit blanket purchase orders to amounts not to exceed $25,000, second reading. Resolution 54, 2013, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into and execute an agreement for the inspection of bridges within the village with QCI CE Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $4,932.40, first reading.
Mario?
Yes.
Could I ask, engineering requested that be passed by emergency with that?
Yes, we have a yearly bridge inspection that is due, and we have to get it completed and turn it for this year.
it was 26,000.
I think we have 5, 6, yes.
There are seats up here up front.
Well, that's good.
Resolution 55, 2013, a resolution to hire Michael J. Pertel as a part-time officer with the Village of Reminderville, first reading. And we would like to do that by emergency tonight also. Resolution 56, 2013, a resolution to authorize the fiscal officer to reimburse Chief Jeffrey Buck in the amount of $1,912.05, first reading. Whole business.
Now, I've got one, something was bothering me since last meeting, resolution 53, 2013, we passed for the new snowplow. It's not that resolution itself, because nobody's more proud of how clean our streets are than I am. There was two things that we said. The first one was, where's the money coming from? And the first thing I did was look down at our fund status. I'm not ever gonna bring up the refrigerator speech again, but that was the whole idea of setting up these funds, these 3 separate vehicle funds. And I know we haven't had time to really accumulate because the funds are new, but when we start thinking of the budget, that was the whole idea, to slowly put some money into these funds so that the next time a big purchase vehicle like this is needed, there's at least some of the money to put away. Which brings up the other thing that was said that bothered me, was there's a surplus in the fire truck fund, we can move that. That was the second reason to make these funds, so we don't rob Peter to pay Paul. You know, that's a good thing to have a positive thing in the fire department's vehicle fund, because The next fire truck we buy, I mean, I'm gonna be long gone the next time we need another fire truck, but it's probably gonna cost over $500,000. And the whole idea was to start putting money into these funds, so that when the next fire truck is due, maybe we have $150,000 in that account. Things are pretty good now, we should put money in there while they are. And, I just wanna bring that up now, because we're gonna be starting budget talks pretty soon. And I think we should appropriate a little bit, even if it's a token amount, just to start having a positive amount in those funds.
Agreed.
Yeah, Mark, I think the second one was my comments, and I
I
know
didn't mention your
another
name on
council.
purpose.
That's okay. I know that another councilman, I can't remember who it was, but someone agreed with you that that money should stay there.
Because, you know, next year we start making payments on the new truck, and we're not gonna have a very easy time putting that kind of money in there.
Right.
Thanks, Mark. Any other old business? New business?
Motion to adjourn? Wait a minute. Who?
Gene?
One item I just wanted to bring up, Council Ware, we have been approved to do the water line replacement on Regatta Trail. And just making you aware of it, I will provide that to Debbie so that in our budget talks. But basically, again, it'll be 100% funding, just like we did on Pirates Trail and Cove. But we have to do the engineering up front with the intention to hopefully do the engineering this winter and do the construction next year. But that's new stuff that I will be getting a proposal on. Just wanted to make sure where it was coming.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Any second, anyone? Second. Roll call on adjournment?
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston, Mr. Walter,
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo,
Yes.
Mr. Condit.
Yes.
Five minutes.
Yeah, take a 5-minute break, let's start our council meeting.
That's an executive.
I think we'll move out.
Oh, it's fine there. Look like someone's walking in. I didn't say anything. I see it. I see it. What the sun? Rooms, pride side. Is that how we're doing it tonight? Yeah. Pardon me. Sorry.